One of the last things here that I want to talk to you guys about tonight is going to be domain names. Once you have actually figured out a particular keyword phrase that you might want to go after, let's say you want to go after down alternative comforter, or perhaps alternative down comforter. You can rearrange keyword phrases any way that you want to. When it comes to selecting a domain name to use for my particular niche, there are a couple of different strategies that you can actually use. And one of them over the other one isn't necessarily right or wrong. It's simply a matter of perhaps personal preference or maybe the direction you are trying to take with your website. I know at least one guy out there tonight is building an affiliate site because they want to target a particular niche or a series of niches on these affiliate websites. But their ultimate purpose in doing so is not to always be promoting products as an affiliate. They're actually looking to eventually switch over to, say, importing those products and selling them on Amazon themselves. And if that was the case, once they make that switch over, you could actually promote your own products on Amazon with your own affiliate website, which would boost your sales and also then boost your sales rank on Amazon as a result, which gives you even more exposure for your products on Amazon, which can then lead to even more sales. Depending on what you may be looking to do long-term with these websites, or perhaps just what your personal preferences may be when it comes to domain names, there's two primary strategies that I typically talk about. Now, a number of years ago, really the only strategy that I ever used was the one that basically everybody already knows now. It's exact match domains, otherwise called EMDs. Now, this is like taking my keyword phrase down comforter guide and turning it into a .com domain name. So it would be downcomforterguide.com. This is the exact match domain name. It is a keyword phrase that has Google traffic on that keyword phrase, preferably at least, and then it is turned into a domain name. The reason why people have done this for many, many years is because Google looks at the words in your domain name and will sometimes consider them to be keywords that could help boost or potentially harm your website rankings. So the whole reason why, people might say exact match domain names are dead. And honestly, I can't ever believe that Google would completely do away with exact match domain names entirely. I do definitely recognize that Google has decreased the power of this type of domain name over the years. However, I also believe that there is no way that they could ever completely throw out giving domain names a ranking bonus based on that exact match. And the reason for this is simply branding. Think of how many major companies out there will simply create their own name to use for their company, and maybe that name isn't really a real word, or it could be a real word. It could be a combination of real words and fake words, or anything really. So Google has to consider that a exact match domain name might actually be a domain name for a brand and not just a keyword phrase. And I really kind of believe like the fine line there starts to kind of decrease the more words you have in your domain name. the less of an exact match domain name bonus I believe you will get when it comes to your rankings. So I will typically try to find a keyword phrase that is 3 words long at the most. If you can find a 1 or a 2 word, that would be awesome, but 3 words is a little more reasonable, and I also still believe that it's within the limits of what Google might expect for a real brand name to be. Just as a basic brand name example, Dell.com. I'm a big fan of Dell computers. Their website obviously is Dell.com, and if somebody was searching for the word Dell, Google would have to consider that the .com website by that same name could potentially be the actual official website for that brand name. So it is that specific reason that I believe that exact match domains and the ranking bonus that they can provide would never entirely go away. No matter how much Google may decrease it into the future, I still believe like it's going to be there to some extent, more or less. Now, in addition to your exact match domains, another option is to kind of go with a branded domain like I was talking about before. This could be a completely made-up brand name, a name that you might want to call, like, if you're looking to appear as a more official company, or perhaps actually be an official company, like the guy that I was talking about that is looking to proceed from being an Amazon affiliate to actually being an Amazon vendor eventually. He is interested in using a branded domain name because he wants to actually have a name for his company and to kind of build some reputation for that name before the company actually begins, so that when he becomes a vendor on Amazon, so he won't have to create a completely new website at that point. The branding, you can make a domain name that is completely random or made up words, or you can also kind of mix and match a branded domain name with an exact match domain name. And this could be especially useful if you've gone through all of your research up until this point and you have perhaps the perfect keyword phrase picked out that you want to use, and then you go to see if the domain name is available, and then you find out it's not available. So you have to ask yourself, do I still want to target that particular niche, or do I want to go back to the drawing board and completely redo my research from the beginning and try to come up with another niche? If you're not looking to completely scrap your research and start over, an easy option is to simply go with a combination of a branded domain name and an exact match domain name. So this could be something like Ryan's Down Comforters, or something like Down Emporium, for example. I believe were a couple of the examples I came up with for my guidebook for tonight. This is essentially taking part of your main keyword phrase and then mixing and matching it with something else. I do typically prefer to put at least one of my target keywords at the beginning of my domain name whenever possible, but as long as it's somewhere in there, you're still going to get some type of boost, even if you just have one of the target words from your particular keyword phrase that you're going after. And make sure it's important words that actually make sense and go along with your niche. For example, I wouldn't want to pick my domain name as ryansguide.com as opposed to Ryan Down Comforters, for example. Guide might be explaining, what I'm trying to do, but Ryan's Guide doesn't give any indication as to what my website is actually about. So that's my main objective there with my domain name selection, is to actually pick something that is, relational to what I am trying to target, in words at least.